MVP, MVP, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? What's up, YouTubers? Let's continue with another set of hot topics that with all certainty will cause for heavy discussions. Starting off with the MVP talk. Who's your pick? Several competitive candidates are within this discussion again. And starting off with Derrick Rose, can he repeat again as the MVP? Completely shut down in games 4 and 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals by a collective defensive effort from DWade and Lebron James, this kid has been working in the offseason very hard, especially on his postgame, according to insider sources from my buddy Bruce Blitz and his Blitz Hardcore podcast. On top of that, he has a competent coach in Tom Thibodeau, who hopefully is doing the right thing in mentoring him and utilizing and integrating his talents the way it should be in an NBA environment that is full of hypes and expectations. Derrick Rose has rooms to refine his game, starting with his overall mid-range game and shot selection. Especially the shot selection has to become more consistent and with a better judgment, and he has to improve his ability to set up his teammates, especially in the playoffs with his playmaking skills. Next, LeBron James. As I mentioned before in several of my videos, with his all-around talent, he could be much better if he uses and works on the aspects of many more facets of the fundamental game, like the post game and moving without the ball, plus catch and shooting. The ability is there, but he just has to use it more instead of playing the triple-double or 1-on-5 monster. Miami's offense would benefit a lot more if LeBron James used his qualities more as the finisher. That is something that Charles Barkley always envisioned for him. Sources say he has been working with Hakeem to improve his overall post game, but until we see something, let's just keep this in perspective. Finally, he got to perform better in the finals, which is his greatest weakness, costing him to be higher in the ranks of great individual players of this generation. The mega prospect of this year, however, is Kevin Durant. The offensive fundamentals are there. He has the size, but also the touch from mid-range and long range, and a nice drive to the basket, as well as some skills in the post. Technically, as a shooter, he's slightly better than LeBron. His defense, however, must improve by far to set it closely on par with powerhouses like LeBron. But I think KD has all the facets to polish on those vital skills. On the other hand, with a little more experience, guts, and mental toughness in years to come, he should be on the verge of truly competing with the likes of LeBron, Derrick Rose, and Dirk Nowitzki, and become a more consistent performer in the playoffs. He doesn't really need to be the passer, because that is actually Russell Westbrook's task. Kevin Durant should play his strength as a finisher rather than his playmaking skills, because he's in the point guard. Let's move up to center with number 1 impersonator Dwight Howard. You can recognize that he truly did work with Hakeem to improve his facets of the post game, and even there he has rooms to improve. Actually, there's nothing more to say except he may need to use his skill set in the post to set up his teammates more, especially when a double team is coming. And other than that, his defense is and will always be as top-notch as usual. At this point, let me just say that unfortunately, centers nowadays haven't really deserved the respect for MVP considerations due to the trend of the raising status of perimeter players who simply play flashier than the big man down low. Indeed, there aren't really any centers anymore who are bigger than 7 foot plus during the peak NBA peak seasons during the 80s and 90s. Chris CP3 Paul, who besides Howard is one of the most sought after superstars in the league. Bruce Blitz admires him because according to him, CP3 is the most fundamental and true point guard in this era. But I haven't seen enough of him since he has been injured for quite a while back then. And I really do not follow the New Orleans Hornets that much, except of course in the playoffs. But one thing is for sure, he's quick on his feet, he has very good ball handling and floor general type leadership skills, and he just needs the better and tougher, more contested teammates to excel his true skills. Depending on whether he stays in New Orleans or signs somewhere else, why would this young man not have a shot at the MVP? Let's move directly to Dirk Nowitzki. In my opinion, the most fundamental power forward of last season, especially in terms of mid and long range shooting. Last year, someone in my fan base laughed at me when I mentioned that. Adding also Dirk's rebounding isn't always consistent. That's what I was told by a fan. But I must say, for my defense, if you have a Tyson Chandler who takes care of the dirty work, why shouldn't Dirk seize that opportunity to focus on his strengths, which is the offense? And which he did, along with Jason Terry's barrage of experience. The Mavericks became the NBA champ of 2011. His defense is solid, he has the big body that is contestant enough to make it hard for his men to shoot over him. Why should he not win another MVP? Last but not least, Kobe. Even with his good old days nearly on the verge, this guy is the undisputed favorite of the NBA media for the next Jordan campaign if he wins another one. Because he already has 5 rings. Can he still keep up his level of skills for the next 2 years? Sharing the ball with his teammates would be more beneficial at that age. It is similar to what Michael Jordan did when he lost his explosiveness from his younger years. Even near the peak of his primes, whether overrated or not, Kobe generally still has what it takes to put fear in the opposition. 'Cause mama, there goes that man, Kobe Bryant, slam dunk giant. One of my least favorites is Carmelo Anthony. Let's do this real quickly. He's a ball hawk most of the time. His defense is not really the hammer, like we used to say in a German saying. But because most fans look at the scoring and highlights mainly, they overlook such a fact very easily nowadays. His clutchness is also simply overrated until he proves me otherwise in the upcoming season. Before we go off, let's evaluate DWade. Practically, but hopefully not too much, in a competitive struggle with his teammate LeBron, who Skip Bayless and co. anxiously enjoy calling and referring to as a sidekick, Prince James or Scottie Pippen. Dwyane Wade also possesses the assets for an MVP. Once a Finals MVP in 2006, and with his array of skill sets that we all know, DWade possesses more mental maturity practically than his younger partner LeBron, and therefore he could show LeBron some mental tricks to work on his NBA Finals mentality to perform better and have more confidence. Because that is what true leaders are doing, especially with their co-stars. But it would take also a significant cooperation with LeBron in order for the situation not to escalate into a starstruck confrontation between the two, which hopefully will not happen, or otherwise it would affect the entire team chemistry. Actually, a lot of NBA superstars of this generation, without exception, keep ball hogging for quite a period every now and then, especially in crunch time, because everybody wants to be the hero. Some of them do it less, some others do it more frequently. But it is as it is, so let's not prank too much on it considering the MVP values. So who is your MVP for this season?